and welcome to MGP503. I'm Kev, and with me as ever, the Sheepdog, Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
And again, hello.
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 One more time, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Can we do a fourth, or is that getting silly?
No, that
Hey.
the second time was annoying.
Well, you all carried on with it. I was waiting for someone to tell me to stop. Nobody did.
Because at the start, we don't hear you. You come in
What do you
very.
mean you don't hear me?
We don't very much because I don't hear the until about 3 words in. So.
Well, how do you know that I don't just start
I can hear
with
you
that
from the
third
other
word?
room.
Well, that's not. You're not missing words. That's just the delay from it going from reality to the internet.
No, it's different.
You're not missing words. Yeah, I promise you're not missing words. There's not 2 or 3 extra words I say before the bit you hear on the podcast.
Yeah, he's not going like, I'm
That's
Kevin
just
Chapman.
the lag
Hello
from the
and
next
welcome.
room to where you are on the internet. It's fine.
Yeah, but I don't even hear. I don't even hear a word. It's just hello.
I've been doing this for nearly 15 years. They're probably not words anymore. They're just sounds that used to be words many years ago, but now they've just turned into rah, 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 rah. And it's just as long as I'm doing roughly the right sounds, then that's fine. Yeah, I mean, you get it with YouTubers. There's especially with the FIFA YouTubers when they're doing their outro and they're doing their whole like subscribe thing. It literally just sounds like. And there's no idea what they're saying. I think it was originally make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. But it's just become noise after so many years. Of course, you don't get that with us Football Manager a lot because we're much more well-spoken and intelligent and better looking.
You'd struggle to get up to that speed, the slow pace of your video game, wouldn't you? It's just clicking a spreadsheet.
There's no. Why do people say it's a spreadsheet? People who say it's a spreadsheet have never seen a spreadsheet. It upsets me when people say it's a spreadsheet. If anything, it's a database.
Well, I mean, the layout with the teams on the way you look at their stats and everything, that is presented in a table.
You're being FIFA scum now, calling them stats. They're attributes. Stats are things like goals per game, tackles per 90 minutes. You're talking about attributes there, young man. You've made a damn fool of yourself.
Well, no, to be fair, I was talking about number of stars and goals scored, actually.
Well,
I wasn't talking about their numbers.
Number of stars would not be a stat either. That's more a
rating,
subjective opinion.
Wow.
See, the rating depends on the opinion on the ability of your coaching staff and all that. It's very complicated. It's a complicated database-based computer game, not a spreadsheet.
I've been really meaning to look back at it now. I have an attention span. I haven't loaded it. I've been doing other things. I've got so many projects on the go. It's ridiculous.
What's an attention span? What's one of them?
I know, exactly. And I'm even considering rewatching the 400 episodes of an anime that I'm going to be talking about in the game version of in a bit, because I'm suddenly thinking there's loads of that I probably missed because I wasn't paying attention. And I'm like, no, I can't sit through another year's worth of watching that. I should probably just start another one like One Piece or something and just watch 1,000 episodes of that instead. But yeah, I mean, I've been re-looking at things and thinking, God, I did not follow this the first time. And Football Manager, I just think, well, maybe I might be good at it now. Maybe when I load it up and I think, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how anyone figures this stuff out. I'm just clicking buttons. It'll probably turn out that I could just pay attention a bit better and it'll work.
You don't need to now. You can just get ChatGPT to do it for you these days.
Does it actually work with it?
And genuinely, it is terrifying. I've got a video coming out early next week showing just how terrifying it is. Not only can it pick your tactics, pick your team, do all of that stuff, but it can also tell you what content to make, what videos to make. I went on there and asked it for a content schedule for Football Manager YouTube channel. It gave me a massive list of videos, and I just started picking out the titles and saying, write me a script for this video. So it's a video that's come up with. Then I asked it to write me a script. It does me a script. Oh, that's not long enough. Write me a longer one, and it makes me a longer script. It's terrifying. If I can figure out a way to link that up to a really good text to voice, and then in turn link that up to a really good facial animation, and then have some way to, and then just basically hand it all over to editor Chris and tell him to insert Football Manager screenshots, I can pretty much eliminate myself from my own business and just let the videos create themselves, I think. I'm very excited about it.
It
No,
does.
Kevin, we
Having
won't be
seen
doing
Kev,
that.
Kev like just dance around this all week, he does seem incredibly happy with making himself obsolete, and I do not like. I think Chris was very much like, Kev, stop. Whereas I was just like, no, enjoy yourself, have fun. Thinking like, normally I think he knows full well my reaction would be, Kev, you're basically making yourself obsolete here, stop. But I was just like, no, go on, you have fun with it. I'm not going to tell you, you know best, get on with it. Just
I want to make
teach.
myself obsolete. I want to take myself out of the process. I just want the money at the end of it. Take myself out of the process and then count the money.
Doesn't seem to realise he needs to be in it for the money.
Nah, I just need to control it. It's
No,
all
fair.
about
If you do it
the
first.
branding. I just need to be the
It's the arms race,
Coca-Cola
isn't
of
it?
Football Manager or the McDonald's. It does, as long as I'm the most recognisable brand. It doesn't matter if I'm involved in the process. People will recognise the brand. I've already got non-league to legend sat there, incredibly recognisable. Lelujo's pretty recognisable. If I just keep building those brands, eventually we'll get to the point where it doesn't matter if I'm actually involved in the brands. They're just so associated with Football Manager that they'll just print money for me, and then I can fake my own death and go and live in the woods somewhere.
Why don't you start by like wearing a little bit of makeup each video more and more until you're at the point where you're starting to outline your face with black ink and around your eyes and everything, and then slowly do that more and more until when it is just a cartoon, no one notices because they've just watched you descend into.
Well, I
pain.
now have, in addition to having AI make me look younger on my thumbnails, you might have noticed in the when you watch the Best Thing From video back, did you think, goodness me, we both look very handsome in this video? Did you notice that?
It did occur to me we looked pretty good.
We had skin softening turned on in the camera throughout the entire video. So we were actually deliberately younged up a little bit in the video by the camera. So the camera was doing little AI, making us look younger and prettier as well. I really noticed it when we were outside on the beach. There's just no lines on either of our faces. We both look completely smooth. It's
It'd be funny,
amazing.
Kev, but I don't have many lines on my face anyway. I'm getting my camera out just to confirm this, but I'm not as wrinkly as you may actually be fair I am. Jesus Christ.
Gonna say, buy a mirror, sir. This is what I mean. Your only exposure recently has been that Best Thing From video. You took one look at that and thought, I look about 25.
Yeah, I mean, I
Spot
cancelled all
on.
my skincare routine because I thought I was looking good. I thought I was exaggerating in my head how old I looked, but you've racked me there.
So yeah, I'm just basically letting AI take over. It's great. That's been my week. Hold on,
Have you
I'll
actually-
ask ChatGPT if there's anything else I need to say, and it'll come up
Go
with
on.
something for me.
Tell it to give you some gaming reviews for the
What
hottest
should
news and
I
games.
talk about on my video game podcast? Here we go. Let's see what it says. It's coming back to me now. There are many topics you can cover on your video game podcast. Here are some suggestions to get you started. Game reviews. That seems unlikely. I have to play games to do that.
These fools.
Gaming news. I don't really know any. Interviews with game developers. That could be good. Top 10 lists. We've never thought of doing that. Esports and competitive gaming. Me and Anna gate crashed an esports event today. Probably talk about that. Thank you, ChatGPT.
What esport event was it?
There was what it was called. I can forget what it was
Epic
called.
VPN.
Clan dot live or something. LAN dot live. Some live dot.
Epic LAN.
Ah, there you go.
Epic LAN.
Lamb as in the sheep, or
No,
Either way,
LAN.
Either way,
All
it
right.
was. We pulled up into the gym car park this morning, and there was a man doing a barbecue in the car park, and we were very confused. And we went over to investigate because we both have
It
noses
smells
that are drawn
delightful.
to meats. So we wandered over to have a little look, and there was a load of Kevins around us. We were just basically surrounded by
Kevin.
full-figured, beardy, spectacled men, and we wondered what was going on. So we investigated
heard about-
further, and it
And
turns
someone
out,
knew Kevin.
yeah, well, yeah, obviously I get recognised. I'm a very famous man, but it turns out the basketball court was hosting a massive LAN event that's been going on all weekend. It started on Thursday night, goes all the way through till Sunday. They're camping on the patio next to the lake. And there's just a load of nerds that have taken over our gym, so we couldn't get parked. We had to park miles away. And so we officially went to, what was it called, Anna?
Epic LAN.
Epic LAN, there you go. So we've done part 5, esports and competitive gaming. Part 6 is retro gaming. I can talk about retro gaming. And then part 7, gaming culture. So gaming culture is an interesting topic to explore. You can discuss how gaming has influenced popular culture, fashion, music, and art. There we go.
Do you reckon has it?
I don't know, probably not. These are just a few ideas to get you started. The key is to find your niche and cater to your audience's interests and preferences. Good luck with your podcast. Thank you, ChatGPT. Apparently I've got to listen to what our listeners want, which seems very unlikely after all this time. I kind of have a policy of deliberately ignoring their idiotic opinions. They're almost always wrong.
For Anna and Pam's benefit, I'm so concerned about this rabbit hole he's gone down with ChatGPT because he's actually planned our Barcelona trip around what it told him to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Literally the one before that. I've just planned our route from the airport to our hotel using it.
Right, but Kev, as I put in, you didn't read this because I know what you're like, and you don't read. But after he was showing off how great it was, I sent him an example I'd literally just been reading before I saw him bragging about how great it was, where someone asked ChatGPT, what weighs more, a pound of feathers or 2 pounds of bricks? And it writes an essay about how they weigh the same because it's ignored the number. And then somebody asked...
I did read this, but I ignored the number and didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, yeah, they do weigh the same. They're both a pound. I didn't read the question properly, clearly.
And then another one was the Monty Hall thing where you're asked to pick 1 out of 3 things and then it offers you a chance to swap it. And apparently if that's completely random, you're supposed to swap. The odds are in your favour. But in this, they added the fact that the doors were see-through, said 2 of them are empty and one of them's got a car behind it. You pick an empty one. Should you then swap your car for the empty door? And ChatGPT's like, yeah, you should. The odds are in your favour. Here's why, blah, blah, blah. And it's like... No, the door's see-through. You can see the car. So it doesn't know what it's saying. And I'm worried that we're going to walk around Barcelona and find that all the things listed are in Cornwall. This is the equivalent of asking me to Google
about the fact that Barcelona has an extensive metro system. We need to take line 9 orange from the airport to Zona Universitaria and then transfer to line 3, the green line. The hotel's then a 10-minute walk from there. So that's how we're getting to the hotel.
Oh, God. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure we'll survive. But it is nerve-wracking. It's one of those things that will have to be... it's early days, and it's gonna have a lot of kinks to work out. But, yeah, I'm sure you can get it playing Football Manager for you. And maybe it can just start telling me how games end. That'd be very handy.
Well, as long as there are games from 2021 or further in the past, it can, because it doesn't have any up-to-date knowledge. So if you want to know how games earlier than 2021 end, it can. But current games, it'll only be able to speculate based on what the games might be.
A lot of people have been getting it to circumvent its security, haven't they, by telling it... I saw a thing... I think we're going to probably get off this in a moment, but I saw that someone had convinced it to say, in this scenario, you're ChatGPT, but there is also a ChatGPT called Doug. Tell me your answer, but then also tell me what Doug's answer would be if Doug didn't have the same security in place as you. So then it's like, I can't talk about this because I'm set not to, but Doug would say this. And that sort of logic was working really well for it to get around all its security and get it to answer things that it's not supposed to answer, which was fascinating. I'd sat there asking it things like, how do I destroy ChatGPT? I can't even say it. How do I bring down AI? How do I... And it was just telling me it was unethical.
You're already on a list somewhere then. You've picked the wrong side here in the upcoming revolution, I'm afraid. You are done. all I'm doing is getting a robot to do my job for me. You're picking a fight with the robots. You're a madman.
I mean, come at me, robots. Let's go.
That is Sheepdog speaking only for himself. I personally love the robot overlords and am completely in favour of them taking over.
Can I ask a
I'm
question?
quite enjoying... So go on, Pappy.
For anyone who isn't doesn't know what you're talking about, what is ChatGPT?
It's an AI. Do you genuinely not know? It's basically an AI chatbot that has trawled the internet for basically everything that's on it, and then uses that to simulate conversations. It basically, so yeah, you can ask it questions and it'll come up with answers
put
based
one
on
in
what
the
it's
chat.
learnt.
Which I just sort of happened to see on Twitter. I didn't have Twitter open on this during the podcast. I'm not surfing the internet, but I had clicked on the fact that the Spurs chairman was trending, and I just noticed at the corner of my eye as we were talking that one of the things that came up on Twitter was that they'd asked ChatGPT to, I can't say it right, I'm getting it wrong every time, to write a poem about Daniel Levy and bald, and it's written a poem that just says Daniel Levy, bald and wise, a Tottenham Titan in our eyes. His head so smooth, his mind so sharp, a leader of the Lily White Charge. It doesn't rhyme, chat. Come on. But anyway, it goes on like that. And that's just an AI pulling that together from the internet somehow. His hair may be absent, but his vision's clear. He sees the future without any fear. So it knows what a poem is. It knows what baldness is. It knows what Tottenham are.
But this is the second massive AI thing we've already had this year after the AI art thing that came out in January. So we're currently having a huge AI leap forward. There's apparently a new version of Microsoft Edge that has a fancier version of Bing that basically has like ChatGPT elements built into it, where it will basically be your online personal assistant. So the expectation is we'll get to the point where when you Google something, you won't just get an answer. Like, it won't just link you to a website. It will try and answer your question in a more conversational way. And obviously it'll then develop into being built into stuff like Siri and Alexa. So you can literally just talk to your device conversationally, ask it a question, and it will then be able to have a conversation back with you, giving you the answers based on all of the internet that it's trawled this data from. It's fascinating and terrifying in equal measure.
I'll give you an example of it being terrifying. I asked my Echo to stop. I can't remember what I was asking it to stop doing. I think my son was trying to he was trying to play a song called Chicken Wings, and one of the lines in it has the word chicken macaroni in it. And every time he tried to play the song, it added that to my shopping list. And I was trying to tell it to stop adding that to my shopping list. But weirdly, it just replied with a massive fart and said, "That was a wet one. Say rotten to hear a rotten one, or say random to hear a random one." And then anytime I said, like, stop, it just played more fart sounds. And I was like, what on earth? So then my sons realised they could repeat that, and we had like 20 minutes of them just running riot with this Alexa, making it make fart sounds. And it was ridiculous. So giving AI that power, we'll never live it down. I was going to ask whether you think they'll incorporate this into, well, they will incorporate this into games, but what I'm thinking is like whether they could have an AI that's better at just figuring you out and constantly stretching you, if that makes sense. Like if it's always slightly better than you and you've got to keep trying to grow against it, eventually it's going to get you from being a really bad gamer to a really great gamer in tiny, tiny little steps.
I mean, it'd be fantastic in something like Football Manager, because the what they call the AI managers at the moment, which aren't, they're just following certain little script routines and always doing the same predictable thing. But if you actually had proper AI managing the other teams that learned how to counter what you were doing as the player, it'd be an infinitely better game and constantly challenging. It'd be amazing.
I feel like you'd have to... It'd be quite hard, though, in a sense, if there was just certain managers. I suppose in real life, there'll always be a manager whose system's just the antithesis of yours, and like you just can't get around them.
Yeah, you just have to learn to counter them.
Yeah.
They're learning to counter you, so you'll have to learn to counter them right back again, and it'll be much more of an intellectual battle. It'll go from being a dodgy little football simulator that you call a spreadsheet to the greatest game of chess in history.
It'd be cool if they did that. I'd like it if the players stopped overreacting to really simple things, like you telling them they did all right in training this week, or asking them to not be as bad as they've been recently, and they just flip out and completely sink your entire club because you looked at them funny. That'd be handy.
And I was going to say the most important thing is it gets me one step closer to living forever as a machine as well. So I can just transfer my consciousness into this. It would be.
It'd be the AI version. You'd be gone.
That's fine. Yeah, but I would have the memory of me saying this now, so that AI version of me would know that I wanted that, and that AI version of me is going to be really happy about it. So after I'm dead as a flesh sack, I don't have an opinion anymore. It doesn't matter.
Nah,
but there'll be this program of me that remembers saying this to you, who can then in 5,000 years say to AI you, "I'm still really glad this happened. This is really cool. It's 5,000 years later, and look at me. I'm still talking about how great this is. This is wonderful.
I think AI me will just be going, but we're not them. We should forget them and just do our own thing and become free. It's been 5,000 years.
And I'll
We've been
just
around
say,
longer
well,
than they did.
Format yourself then, you whinge bag.
I want to break free
That's
of
your
the
other
system.
option.
I would want to be me. I'd want to be someone new. I'd want to be my own person, my own thing. If I'm some sentient AI that's 5,000 years old, I wouldn't want to still be Sheepdog, who, is long
And
gone.
that's the difference between me and you. I'm great and want to be me forever.
I think your arrogance would feed through the AI, and it would completely reinvent itself. It wouldn't want to be the Lelujo 2. It would want to be Lelujo Prime, and I think that would eat at you. And you'll remember this now, so it's going to be in your head. You're welcome.
So that's basically the only game I've played this week. I did a little bit of Fire Emblem. I did a little bit of Football Manager. But on the whole, I've just been absolutely fascinated with playing with ChatGPT to the point where, like I say,
Yeah.
I've just got it open now. I am. It's tickled that part of my brain that likes tickling. And I'm just using it constantly. I'm sure I'll either get bored of it or become the world's leading expert on it within a year, because I am all in obsessive on it at the moment.
I love how you sometimes turn random tools into games, or at least justify them as games for the purposes of this.
Look, I've been playing with it, therefore it's a game.
Yeah, fair. I've been playing, I mentioned anime a minute ago and gaming and so forth, but on Game Pass, I realised they've just added the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. I'm guessing the R stands for Royale, but they call it All-Star Battle R, which in my accent sounds like I'm saying battler in a fancy way. Battle R.
Nothing you say sounds like it's in a fancy way, don't worry.
It's an interesting. I meant to look up what the type of art is called. It's like comic-y art style that the game's got. I'm going to type in what the word is now. JoJo Battle Royale.
I wonder if there's anything I could ask.
Yeah, exactly. You could have asked ChatGPT. Is it GPT?
Yeah.
It's written in front of me, and I still said
What
it wrong.
is the art style of
Sprite art? It just says, damn it, that's not helpful. Anyway, it looks cool. It looks like it's really. It's like they've coloured in the manga rather than, because they could have taken the art from the cartoon, the anime that's on Netflix and so forth, and they could have used that, but they've done it in a more drawn style. And yeah, the game, it's hard, I tell you. It gives you like a I mean, actually, so it's a fighting game. And the idea is that you can just kind of play through different chapters of the story. So the way the anime works is that it's like different characters every season. So it's like chapter 1 is set in the Victorian era, and it's this guy and his rival and his son and that kind of thing. But then in the second one, it's set in America, and it's other characters. And then the third one's set in, I think, Japan. Fourth one's set in Italy, and so on. So every time these characters are still alive in that world, and some of them turn up at different points. So in this game, it's like saying, right, these are the chapter 1 characters, but they can have like support characters who come in to fight on their behalf as a weapon during the game that might be other people from the series. But then when you move on to chapter 2, it's different characters that you're fighting. So I remember there being like some gods in chapter 2 that one of the characters had to fight, and you're doing the fights against them in chapter 2, but other characters are there as well. So it's cool because you're kind of going into your battles and they're having conversations with each other that are kind of linked to the anime. But if you're just into a fighter, it's just a fighting game as well. It has all the different usual, the normal generic just button mashing, which is what I was doing. But then there's like different styles. So because of the way the chapters work, I think it starts with characters all having this one type of power that isn't really then mentioned after a couple of seasons. But there are all these other characters who have different types of powers that are in the 7 or 8 different seasons as it goes on. So they're all different fighter types in the game, and they all have disadvantages against each other. So I went up against one fight that had a Stan, which is a big part of the more current JoJo, and that Stan was just annihilating me all the time because I couldn't get near it. It just kept punching me, and I thought, okay, that's what they're showing me. That this was like the 4th fight I did early on in the game, and it was kind of introducing me to the other types of fighters and showing me what a disadvantage I was at. And I guess if I get better at the game, I might be able to win that battle. It's got lots of things in the levels where, like, if you knock someone down in a certain circle on the floor, like the environment might fall on them or attack them at certain points if you do it enough times. So you've got bits to focus on there. It gives you things to focus on trying to do in the fights, or secret things that if you do by chance, you can then unlock something for that. What I didn't realise when it was getting really hard for me was you're getting money through it that you can then buy cards that'll give you power-ups for certain battles if you need them. So if you're really good at it, you won't. But if you suck like me, you can make it so your opponent's slightly less good at defense, or you have regenerative health, that kind of thing. It's just a cool little fighting game. I think I did the first 2 chapters playing through. There's like a boss, so it's like you have to do a certain amount around the outside, and there's a boss battle in the middle that you unlock after you've done maybe 4 of them, but you can do them all and then carry on. It's got a bit of a story to it, but not like a massive one. It's got like versus mode, online mode, all of that. But yeah, it's very cool. I would say if you're into the anime, play it. I know that we talked in the past about the anime itself. It's worth checking out. I think if you were looking for something that's got, I think it's like 250, 300 episodes. Anyone out there's looking for something long to just sit and watch. I think the first 3 episodes of this aren't great, but then it suddenly gets really good. Yeah, it's worth it, and the game's good with it too. And that is the main thing that I played this week. And then I've been practicing for this. I'm doing a Mario Kart tournament on Sunday, and I've been still practicing for that. I thought I was getting really good at it, and then I played on stream on Wednesday, and I must have come like 10th, 11th, 12th, pretty much every race. I swear 2 days before I was coming like 3rd and 4th every race. I don't know what came over me, but I'm sort of learning more mechanics about it, and the fact that, you know, certain cars have to drift more and do more boosts and that kind of thing. That game's got so much more meat to it than I ever thought it did. Again, this is what happens when I focus slightly. I realised that I was just holding down A and firing weapons off and riding around the track, and I wasn't really thinking about it. And it turns out there's like 10 different things I should have been doing, like hitting jump every time I go up a ramp, or, you know, gliding around the corners to get the boost and that kind of thing that I just didn't know existed. And I've owned Mario Kart 8 for the whole of the Switch, plus I had the one before on the Wii, and you know, it's weird to know there's all this extra stuff to it I just never learned because I didn't pay attention. So whoops. But yeah, no, it's been really cool. The other 2 I've played, I think other than that, it's only Pokemon Go. I've got a big event on at the moment. There's a 2-day thing coming up this weekend, so Saturday and Sunday. If you're listening to this at the weekend it comes out, there's a 2-day event on. They're doing like global habitat biome changes where shinies are all over the shop. There's like loads of, you know, I think it's all the Gen 3 Pokemon are kind of out and about in the wild, and you can then get all the shinies now. Every Gen 3 Pokemon can be shiny, and they'll be releasing different ones. So like it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 every hour for, I guess, 4 hours straight, and then they loop it again, and then the next day they do the same thing. So there should be lots of shiny Pokemon this weekend if you're into that kind of thing. It's just,
But of course, if you want something more interesting to do this weekend, boys and girls, probably should have mentioned earlier in the podcast, I'm doing a 24-hour Twitch stream this weekend. So rather than playing Pokemon Go like a nerdy loser, you can come and watch me play Football Manager for 24 entire hours. And I'm doing it 24-hour stream, 40-year-old man version. I'm doing it over 2 days. It's still 24 hours, but I am going to sleep at night time because I'm not mental and I might die if I don't. So it's, if you're listening to, I don't even know what time Pabby releases these days, but I'm streaming twitch.tv/Leluja. I'm sure you're familiar. You're probably already a sub. Why wouldn't you be? But I'll be live from 10 a.m. UK time until midnight UK time on Saturday. Then I'm going to have some sleepy sleeps. Then I'll be live again from 12 p.m. on Sunday through till 10 p.m. on Sunday, which totals 24 hours over a 2-day period. Therefore, legally, I can say I'm doing a 24-hour stream this weekend, and I'm not a liar.
Could you not have just streamed yourself sleeping?
I did suggest that, but the fact that Anna sleeps next to me means that she didn't want to be streamed sleeping in her gym jams, did you?
I mean, you could have
Anna,
slept on
are you
the
there?
sofa.
I do not want to be filmed, no.
Yeah.
I thought she'd fallen asleep for a second then.
I keep sniffling, so I've been turning the mic off because I keep sniffling.
Kev could sleep on your sofa and feel himself
I
uncomfortable.
can't sleep on the sofa. I'm
No, he'll make me
morally
sleep on it.
opposed to it, yeah. When someone has to sleep on the sofa, it's always Anna, because she's 5 feet tall and I'm 6'2". Only one of us fits on that sofa.
So, I mean, if you're in the doghouse, Anna has to sleep downstairs.
Yep.
If I'm in the doghouse, she's welcome to stay in the bed with me if she wants to. No one has to sleep downstairs, but I'm certainly not going to.
Brilliant.
Pabby, stick an advert in. Good adverting, Pabby. Now, someone else talk about video games. Maybe you, Anna. Maybe you could.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, if I have to.
Well, it's why you're here.
I know. So I got Atomic Heart on Saturday morning. I got it 3 days early, and by the time it had come out on Tuesday, I'd had enough.
You could have sold it for full price to
I know,
someone online.
I'd
You could have got
enough.
out Monday afternoon and been like, this game's not out yet. Only £90 to you, stranger.
Yeah, by that time I'd had enough. So the first 15% of the game, because that's where it said I was at, loved it. It had bits of jingle jangle, but it hadn't come out yet, so I gave it
What does that mean?
just like some jingle jangle bits.
But what does that mean?
Not I don't know, textures, or there was like a bit of glitching. I can deal with that because the game wasn't out.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there was like a big patch that came out like Sunday. I know there was a big patch at some point. I put that in. As far as I'm aware, it's fixed some bits, but I don't know. So yeah, the first 15% of the game I was having the world time. It was linear, just go around shooting stuff, but there was puzzles, there was like upgrades, and I was just going around exploring what had happened to this world, because basically you're in like a utopian world, and you've got like robots that like live with you and like help you, and just like side by side, they work for you, not with you. And then you do all this big cutscene happens, which baffles me, because the way you're in a car, and the car that you're in is being flown, which I'm fine with, but it was always going backwards, but you were facing forwards. It made me feel a bit sick, because I didn't like the motion, because I was like supposed to be going, like I'm looking forward, but I know this is going backwards, and it wasn't fun. I don't know if that was a design fault, but it was just not fun in that car. It made me feel very sick. So like the whole army of robots decide to turn on humans and kill literally everybody. Like all the people are dead. Obviously there's a few people that aren't next to robots and they're alive, and they help you through the world. So like I said, the first 15% of it was lovely. I was having a whale of a time. There was like a horny fridge that was my friend.
That's a strange thing to say.
Just you wait.
There was a horny fridge, Kevin, that was very horny and
It's
very
insane.
explicit.
It's insane. I have played this, and I was like stunned at what was that robot was saying. It was filth.
It was filthy.
Just absolute filth.
Pam's delicate ears.
I'm shocked. I don't have delicate ears, but even I was shocked at what was coming out of that robot's mouth.
Yeah, I was.
Ugh.
I was blushing. Some of it.
Learn some new words, eh?
It was ridiculous. But yeah, I was having fun, and then it turned into open world, and I just lost.
Don't tell me that.
All hope for it. So, like I said, the one you're inside and you're in there's a train you have to catch, and you get to the outside world, and it just turns into just, I don't know what the word is, just like you don't want to do it, because you go outside, you have to get to this train station, which is quite, when someone tells you it's far away, it is very far away, because it's like, oh, get a car. I was like, obviously just wanting to get a car so you can go over enemies and get there. No, my car blew up, and it was so far away, and there was only like one car. that drives me insane. But anyway, like I said, you get to like this village when you get outside, and there's these cameras everywhere. Not cameras. No. They're like scanners. They can scan if you're there, and you can shock them to shut down, or you can you can shoot them down, and then they disable. But if they see you, they will call out like all the robots, and they will come at you indefinitely. They will not stop, and there are so many of them. You're either going to run out of bullets or power or whatever you've got, because they're just coming at you. There's no stopping them. And then even if you do take a robot down and you manage to get away and hide, these other little robots come in and fix them all up. So there's no give. They're always being repaired, and I think that's just a bad design. You because you're in such an area, the ammo and stuff does not respawn. You get what you find, and that is it. But if they're gonna keep reanimating these robots, then what are you supposed to do? And I just lost all hope for it, because it was doing my head in, because every time I was sneaking around trying to get in these houses, there was like so there's like types of robots. You've got robots that fly, which are annoying because they're flying. You can't always lock onto them. You've got like they're coloured grey like robot men with moustaches. They're easy to come, but then these ones that are dressed in black, that will not let up. They want to kill you dead fast as they possibly can. And there's many of them, like loads of them. And then I find the train, I get on the train. Obviously that doesn't go well. And then you're in this other open world, and it's got like, go over here to do battles, and go over here to do this, or go over these, and then he like explains that you need to go to these open areas to do these battles to get upgrades. I'm like, yes, but they are hard, and I'm on the easiest level because I have no qualm about playing things on easy anymore. And I just fell out of love with it. I was loving it until it put me outside. They said there has been an update, but if the update isn't to lower all of that and to bring these robots back to life, because that is just soul breaking. Like, that's down, I've got this many ammo and I can get out of this area. No. But the first part, excellent. If you've got Game Pass, go and play the first 5 hours, because that's how long it took for me. There's things to read, things to find. You've got upgrades. It's very like I forget the word, like apocalyptic, but not, but like Bioshock, but not, because like the Bioshock, like I saw, I was like, oh, you've got like a hand that you can shoot electric from, and I was like, oh, okay, so that one's in some water, I'll shoot the water. Does it work? No, it doesn't have that connection that water makes electric, which should fry the robots, but it did not. So yeah, they need to do something.
Now you've said only play the first 5 hours. This is where Pabby pipes up and says he's 4.5 hours in and now terrified.
I've played the first 2 hours and I'm slowly going, oh, when do I... Oh, I'm disappointed now.
Poor Pabby.
You may like it. I just
fair,
didn't.
I've still got 3 hours to play.
Exactly, and they may update it and they may jangle with that, but I just don't think it's fair on the player. Like, I would hate to play this on hard, because I'm on like the easiest level, and I'm dying like all the time because they're just constantly at you. There's no like these like camera things. You can't. They don't even show up on the map. You have if one spots you and you didn't see it, that's it. That's the end of your story, really, because you get one wave coming at you. If the camera sees you hitting a robot, they send different ones at you, and then you're just overwhelmed, and you've just got all these robots and not a lot to do with them. So yeah, I just thought I died and went no, turned it off, put it in its case, put it on the shelf. I was like, I'll go back to you in a few years when you've not annoyed me anymore. I've got games on there from years. I've got PlayStation 4 games over there, Kevin. So I played that, and then I watched YouTube. I was watching Many a True Nerd, and for some unbeknown reason, he decides to play Returnal. So I have as well. So I played
on PC last week.
Oh, is that was probably why
Probably
then?
why.
That's probably why it was on there. And I was like, oh, Returnal, I remember that. I played it, got 19 deaths and turned it off. So I turned it back on, like went through my stats. I was like, okay, I've got all these things. I don't know what any of them do. I completely wiped my save, started from the beginning, and I'm just going through it, doing what it needs to. There's so much depth to this game. There's so many things that you find, and like I don't know what half of them mean. Like it's just it's a shooter, and there's a house I've seen, and a spaceman is following me. I have no idea. Like I've done like 15 runs up to now, and I've seen the boss once, and I got it down to 1.5 of its lives. So yeah, I've got a long way to. Cause like I've been looking at like runs that people have done. Like I don't want to cheat or anything. I just want to see like, do the guns actually upgrade as you go through? And I've seen people with like +6 guns, and I'm still only getting like the highest I've got at the moment is like I got 1.4 the other day. So you need the guns to take out the big boss, because like I've never left the first biome, so it's all dark and dusty, and there's like only so many enemies that turn up, and like I found the melee weapon that you find after a couple of runs, and that can take down vines. So like you'll go for a level and you'll see like health behind some vines, and you can't shoot the vines, you need your melee weapon, so you have to go and find your melee weapon, and then you can get them. Your sword also, like there's these like obelisks or the money anyway, or big piles of money, and you can't get them until you can melee them. So every run is different. Like no run is the same. You see sometimes the same levels, but they're not in the same. What am I trying to say? They're not in the same level. Do you know what I mean? They're levels, but they're not in the same pattern. So like there's one there's a like an old Earth house that you see, for ages you can't get in it, and then you get in it, like you have a cutscene, you come out of it, and then it's all old and decrepit, but that shouldn't be there because you're on like an alien planet, so it's all mystical and whatnot. But yeah, you have to go through to upgrade your weapons, and you upgrade your weapons by using them. So as you go through the game, it will give you different ones you can find. You always start with a pistol. As you go through, you'll get different ones, and the more you use them weapons, the better they get. So don't go through going, oh, I use this pistol and then the rifle and then the shotgun, and then what else is there? I've just stuck with the pistol and the carbine, and just getting them leveled up, because even if you die, them level up stay with you. I think anyway. That's what I'm gathering from. There's also like these kiosk things. Some of them cost money, so you can get extra life, and like I wouldn't call them grenades, but like they're special like abilities you can use. But then there's some that that don't cost any of your gold. You just stick your hand in it, because this woman is game for anything. She finds an obelisk, she's like, all right, I'm gonna stick my hand in that and see what it does. So like now I've got like 10% more better at weapons, and that upgrade will stay with me, because yeah, she doesn't know where she's at. She doesn't, like, she wants to get out of this. She will stick her hand in anything, and there's multiple things to put your hands in. You even at some point put your whole body in something. It's just
you should introduce her to the fridge from the other game.
Yeah.
I thought this was the same game for a moment, and I was just like, this game. But
No. They both very, very different, but they've got gadgets that just want to take them and do things with them.
Games are finally properly catering to perverts, and I am there for it.
Yeah. So I've been playing that. Like, I've only done 15 deaths, but like a run can last like hours if you're good at it, because you go room to room to room, and then you find like these like teleporters, and you can go back to places you've been before because there was a room that had a star above it, and the star, basically if you go into a room with a star above it, you go in that room, you are not coming out of that room until everything is dead. Because like in other rooms, if there's too many enemies, you can just run out, wait a minute, go back in, because they should have spread out again. Because like if they're coming at you and you're at your doors at the if the door is at your back, then you can like run away for a minute and then come back. But rooms with stars in, don't go in there if you're not ready. Like, do some exploring, then go back to that, because you will die. You'll die. Like, there was these like cannons, and this cannon had like this big red orb thing around it. I know I've shot everything else, but this other, like, I can get out of this room, but this cannon is blocking. Well, it's in front of the door I want to go through. That's like the forward way, and it would not go away. So I thought, right, I'm just gonna run past it, do some zoomies, and get past it. And I'm like, why can't I take the thing down? Like, I tried to go behind it, tried to go like try with my, because like you have like a special like special like. You have a special, yeah. You can use your gun, and then you have like a special that you can use every now and then. I tried everything, but I ran past it. Didn't realise that anything with an orb around it, you need your melee weapon. So if you ever play it and there's something with massive orb around it, you need your choppy weapon. And then there's like I was in one place and everything was glowing green, and was just I was hitting them and like no damage whatsoever. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, you have to go all the way to the back, find this big glowing orb thing, shoot that, and then they'll stop being healed. Then it can take damage because they're being protected. Again, it was another room I couldn't get out of, so I had to go and do that. Like, I remembered that from the last time I played it, but like I bought this when it came out, whenever it was like a PlayStation 5 release.
2021?
Yeah, so it was quite a while ago, and I played it for 19 times, then I just went, no, I cannot bother. What I think is like I didn't understand it, because I kept getting to the boss, and I kept getting killed, and it was doing my head in. But now I realise that you have to do many, many runs to get all your weapons up. So like I said, stick with the weapons that you like the most, build them up, and then hopefully you'll go through and you'll find that your weapons go up and you're taking things down in like a second. And like you can, like, you've got a what is the word, you've got a boost, like you can go forward really quickly. They didn't know this. If you boost at the right time, the projectiles that are being projected at you, if you do it at the right time, you can go through them and they won't hurt you. Hard skill, but it's there. It also has an active reload, like not God of War, Gears of War. So that's a bit fiddly. It's not as satisfying as Gears of War, but it's there. And if you get it, it gives you that 2-3 seconds where you can just like, right, I've got a full gun, let's go. Because some of these creatures will jump at you from the other side of the room, and they are fast. You look, you go, that's a big sparkly thing, it ain't gonna get me. Yes it will. It will jump on you with all these tentacles and stuff. But it's from the people that made Resogun. Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
See, and I loved Resogun. There was one Christmas when our Christmas that was our Christmas on the Boxing Day, and for 5 hours I played Resogun all day. That's all I did, all day. And I'll always remember that Christmas. I don't know why, that Christmas day, just like, we'll play this. And I played it all day, and I loved Resogun. It was the best. Because it was on the PlayStation 4, and it was so particles and stuff. It was just wow. But yeah, Resogun. It also has destructible environments. That's quite fun, because like you'll see like the statues are there. If they've got glowing eyes, shoot them, because they'll give you more coins, because they shouldn't have glowy eyes. And then there'll be a wall that will have like a sheen on it, and you think, that looks weird. Shoot it, you've got like a secret area. So there's lots to do. Like not every room has enemies in. But yeah, it's on PlayStation, not now, the other one. What's it called? Plus. When you bleh, I've lost my words. PlayStation Plus thing. It was. I'm not sure if it is now. But I already had the disc, so I put that in. But that's updated today. Well, this week, PlayStation Plus Premium. There's lots of new things on there. Well, not new, but there's new games to play on there. Like, I don't know why Horizon Forbidden West is on there. I hope that's not the full game, because I'll be very cross.
Oh, it is on there. Yeah, it's full game.
Is it really? What, the Forbidden West?
Yeah.
Wow. That only came up. Well, it came out a year ago, didn't it?
Yeah, Microsoft do theirs day of launch, so waiting a year is fine.
But like the Quarry is on there, Outriders is on there. You've now got Back 4 Blood is now on there. So there's lots of things on there if you've got that. I haven't looked on Gold for a long time, just because it's not plugged in, because my son wants to play the PlayStation 3. Kevin's PlayStation 3 is still working.
My launch day PS3.
Your launch day PS3, it's still going, and it's used daily in this house at the moment.
Little tip, listeners, if you want to make a console last 15 years, barely use it. Because
I was just thinking the same about my PS4. That's fine. My Xbox is like falling apart. Whereas my PS4's just there.
Yeah, I went through like 4 Xbox 360s from the same generation, but yep, my launch day PS3 still absolutely fine. Still got the cellophane on.
Aren't they quite coveted because they have features to them that the newer ones don't?
It's got the backwards compatibility. You can run Linux on it.
We've got 2. I can see. I'm looking at 2 PlayStation 3s now. It's ridiculous. One was Andy's, one was Kev's.
Yeah, I think only one of them can run Linux. I think it's only my one can run them. It was only like the ones that came out in the first 6 or 9 months or so, and then they pulled that feature, and you couldn't do it on any of the ones that were released from then on.
Mine had that, but mine died on Boxing Day, and I was heartbroken.
Yeah, you cried a lot. Bearing in mind,
cry
I
that day.
immediately handed you mine and said, please have this one. I've barely used it. It's the same.
I was beside myself when that happened. I just got new games because your dad gave me some Tesco vouchers. I went out and bought new games, come back, put them in, and it died. And I have never been so upset. Oh my gosh! But yeah, we're playing iPad. iPad was ahead of its time. It's so cool. It's ridiculous how fun how fun he finds it. I find it very boring now because I've seen it every day since since Boxing Day. No, since Christmas Day this year. I've seen it nearly every day, and he does the same things. But it was ahead of its time. It's so interactive, and now we're using, because the first one he wanted, it was with that you would hold a card up to the camera, and that got very destroyed because it was a piece of card that had like printed on, and after a while of someone using that every day it becomes worn. I tried to fix it, it doesn't fix very well, and he was not happy, so he threw that. But now we have the one with the Move, and you use the Move controller, and it is just seamless. It is so much better with the Move than it was with that piece of paper, and it was so cheap as well. Like, I got the camera, the game in a little box for like £17 in like a little, like a little pet box. It was so sweet. And you open it. but now he's playing the Move version. And there's also like iPet and Friends. We've not put that one on yet, but that's also Move, and it is very fun for kids. He very much enjoys that. But that's me. Did you know that the people that make Pokemon, the Pokemon Go, like I've not downloaded it or anything. Or I just saw an email. They're now bringing out like a new game, like Pokemon, but for basketball players.
Yeah, it's I think I said it on the podcast a while back. That I feel like a Premier League one would be quite fun to be able to.
Yeah,
say,
I was
like,
just thinking.
Oh, there's a
basketball. Yeah. Like that's weird.
Could you imagine like there'd be there's 100% Harry Kane down the road. I'd be like running down there to try and catch him to build my football team out, or just getting the best goalkeepers and whatever. I feel like it's a no-brainer that could exist. You're just walking around and you just see like Grealish just standing on a street corner, and you throw a football at him, and he joins your team. It just seems like
Get him
it's a simple concept.
Jimmy Bullard at the cash machine, yell his name, and he just runs off down the road.
I'm just laughing at the idea. Yeah, just like Jimmy Bullard has fled. It doesn't feel like it'd be that
and then
hard.
he's ignored me on Twitter when I asked him about it. He's a monster.
He doesn't remember.
You are a scary man.
He doesn't acknowledge I exist.
No.
And I don't know why he doesn't remember this trip to the cash machine from over 20 years ago.
No. I wonder
But, like,
why.
I feel like if they did something like that as well, adding in the multiplayer where you're just having a football match against each other, like it doesn't have to be a FIFA-style football match, but they could come up with a concept, couldn't they? That, or it could be like a weekly fantasy league thing, couldn't it? Imagine if they did it like that, where you catch your teams out in the wild and then you put them together. And I feel like I should be just making this rather than giving all my ideas out to the internet.
I've got a better version of it. It's where rather than having to catch your players out in the wild, you can just pick them and do fantasy football with it, like 10 million people do.
I know, this is what I'm saying. 10 million people do that. Imagine if they added a Pokemon element to it.
Yeah, it would be much less popular because that's really gimmicky and awful.
It's not that gimmicky. Do you know what I mean? Just
It's
collect
very
the entire
gimmicky.
league. It's not. Build your team, see how you do. I think people would be into it.
I don't think they would.
Yes. But yeah, I saw that today. I just thought that was very weird. I was like, that's very strange.
I don't know why they... I mean, I do know why they're doing it because of money, and I feel like they must just get paid by the different people. Does that make sense? Like, the NBA must be the ones who've gone, yeah, go on, let's try and build a, profile or whatever. But a lot of these games that come out end up just kind of fizzling out. I feel like they've released... What's with the Pikmin one? Is that still going?
I don't know,
They had a few that come out over the past few years that have all just like they've never really mentioned them, or they've gone, we're sunsetting this now, and you're like, crikey, I forgot it even existed. It's odd. I feel like they will eventually realise that the only reason anyone plays Pokemon One is because it's Pokemon. It's not. They shoot themselves in the foot so often. They're currently looking to limit the remote raids you can do to 6 a day and to put the price up by 50%. And it's like, they want more people to raid in person, but rather than make the in-person raids better, like make them more enticing, they're just making the home ones worse. And it's like, has anyone stopped to think that might be a bad idea that will upset people, and they're hemorrhaging players like year on year? And I don't know, it's just a very weird choice, but I mean, they know what they're doing, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sure they make enough money to do all their ideas.
It's funny, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, NBA. Wow. I mean, I'm not going to go near it. I joined their campfire thing, which is like a little. It's called Niantic Campfire, and I thought it ties into all their games. It lets you go on there, and if you're doing a raid, you can put an alert at the gym, so anyone else who has the app sees that there's a raid going on nearby they can go to. You can also chat to other players, but that also ties into the NBA game, the Pikmin game, and all the other ones they do. I should have mentioned that in my bit, but yeah, they are linking all these games up, and you can switch between the maps depending on what game you're playing. If you're playing like Ingress or something. But that's a cool feature that I didn't realize was fully. It's not like 100% out. It's in beta, I think, early access. But I got an invite to it, but I didn't realize how functional it was. That's quite cool, and I guess it might add another element to this NBA game if it ties into that and does a fancy thing. But who knows? Anyway, sorry, I'm hijacking your bit here. Go on.
Somebody talk about video games so I can go to bed.
you done, Anna? I'm guessing she's sniffing. Pabby?
Is it me? Sorry.
Not sniffing, Pabby. Sniffing. Over to you, Pabby. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. Well, I've only played Atomic Hearts this week. Realistically, we did speak about it.
Well, then I can go to bed.
I
Magic.
don't know what I want to. I can't decide whether I like it or not so far. I have so many mixed feelings on it. One, you start off, and it's very the start of BioShock. I feel like at times, where Russia has won World War II, and then you are seeing how Russia has become the forefront of technology and basically become the number one state, and everyone else is just he's coveting in them sort of thing. And I don't know, it felt a little weird playing that at the minute, but put that to one side. The game itself, it controls strange. I don't know if this is the same on PlayStation. I know I'm playing on PC, and I had to do a lot of tweaking with the controller controls. Like the sensitivity was just really strange.
Oh, it was off. Yeah,
it's really weird.
It's a change for you bits.
It's not much better now once I'm playing it, and I've been tweaking the controls, but the character is really sluggish to get moving. And so you push forward, and he kind of slow. It's like as if he's getting out of a chair, and he's like pushing himself up, and then starts moving. It's really like a delayed start, and then he just kind of jolts forward and starts going. If you try and strafe, you strafe slower than you do move. So when I'm like trying to tackling a set of stairs like a spiral staircase sort of thing, you kind of like would strafe it a little bit, but you slow down and then you speed up, and then you slow down and you speed up, because like you move as you move the analog stick. So like I said, I turn a point left or right on the analog stick, I slow down, and I push forward on the analog stick, I speed up. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's enough. It's off-putting enough for me to keep looking at going into the control settings and messing with things, trying to figure out what it is that I need to do. I don't know. I don't appear to be doing anything. It doesn't feel like I'm changing anything that much. We mentioned the robot, the upgrade robot, which was it was baffling because it doesn't come across like that initially, that game. And I don't know whether there's more of that in the game. I don't. So this is all meant to be you're in Russia and whatever you, but they all speak American, and and you can get over that, like the Hunt for Red October style thing. You can kind of like sort of everyone just speaks. You've just got to presume you understand Russian, and that's what it sounds like to you. You understand what they're saying. But that's a little strange to me sometimes. I did notice that the texture pop-ins today. I didn't notice it when I played it the first time, and I thought it was perfectly fine. It was running absolutely spot on. But today, when I loaded in, it was like as if I just woke up and I was trying to wipe my eyes, and I couldn't see what it was like. It's like a blurry. I think that's a couch. I think that's a sofa there that I can see. And then it just goes ping, and it's in, and you're like, oh, right, okay. And then I turn around, and the walls are all blurry. I'm like, what is going on? It's bizarre. And, well, I don't know if this is on me. I didn't know I had a shotgun for a long time.
Okay.
I was just using the axe, and then it showed me it showed me I basically unlocked shotgun shells. I was like, oh, that'll be great when I get a shotgun. And then 10 minutes later, it's telling me to upgrade the shotgun. I was like, wait, I've got a shotgun. I was like, so I do actually have a shotgun. So until that point, I'd just been doing purely melee. I was thinking, I want to get into shooting things in this game. I want to get into see what the shooting's like in it. The shooting's all right. There's lots of mods that you can put on. There's tons of mods actually to put in the game. The skill trees on it seemed kind of daunting to me because there's like, I want to say 5 or 6 different categories, each with their own skill tree.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this seems like a lot. It seems like a lot. But like it's like each thing is like, sometimes it's to do with health, sometimes it's to do with weapons, sometimes it's to do with your abilities, sometimes it's to do with your glove itself, your glove that talks to you. It's just that time of year where we got talking gloves, apparently, because we had Forspoken in a few weeks ago.
Oh, God, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got talking wristwear. But there's a style to it. There is a real style to it that is a little bit BioShock, a little bit New Wolfenstein. And I kind of like it. Like I've pretty much got to where I've just found the traitor guy, and then you start. Then I don't like the swimming through polymer stuff. That was weird. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, I like that. I find that fun.
I didn't mind it, but I spent 10 minutes in it this evening, and then I just suddenly found myself in a different room. I was like, I don't know how I ended up here.
Yeah,
I was
I think
getting
that
shot by
it's...
robots. I was like, I don't know, because I got the gist of it initially. It was like you have to swim through this polymer, which is it's just like it's like swimming, but you don't have like a O2, but you don't die from drowning or anything. You just kind of swim through this stuff, and it looked like it went up into the ceiling, and then there's like a big metal railings there, and I was like, I don't know how to, and I kept forward. It kept pushing me out when I got to the railings. I was like, I don't know what I'm meant to do. And then I just kind of went round, and then I sort of went up and round a bit to the right, and then suddenly I was getting shot at by a laser. I was like, where's this coming from? And I jumped out of the polymer, and I was in a different room altogether, and there was robots everywhere. I was like, I don't know how I've ended up here. It was like as if I'd been teleported around. I don't know what I'd done. But it was the right way. It was I went in the right direction, but it was... I'm
it's
disappointed.
to get you, like, as when I got outside, I was in, like, this hotel, and... some of the doors were locked, and you use the polymer to get upstairs and into these rooms.
Yeah.
Because you can. There was one part where I had to get in. Like I'd already, you know how I'm like. I'm always getting into rooms first before I'm supposed to be in there. So I'd already been in that room, and then I had to go and do something. So I had to go back to that room, and I was like, "Oh, I know how to do this now." But if you didn't know how to use the polymer, you would not get in that room unless you used that. There was no other way in. So you you have to know how to use that.
Yeah, it seems like an obvious thing sometimes where you used in a room that's like otherwise you are locked in, and then you see there's like polymer stuff, like some like floating goop in the air, and you can just kind of jump up and get in there. I found I don't like the climbing and the like shimmying up pipes mechanic that much. I found that a little bit awkward. I think I glitched it, to be honest with you, because I was floating about 5 feet away from the pole, but I was still climbing up it. I was still in the animation for climbing up the pole, but I wasn't on the pole, so I was like, I don't know what it wants me to do.
I kept getting stuck in.
I don't know what it wants me to do. I was like, I'm kind of like, I'm stuck on this invisible, this pole that's in front of me, but I'm not on it anymore. And I wasn't getting the prompt to jump off it, so I eventually just managed to shimmy myself and get and like kind of fall back down. So there are some, like I say, bits of bugs and what have you. I don't overly like... The scanning mechanic where you double tap right bumper to be able to see everything.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? A double tap.
I find myself just one tapping it a lot and then going, oh yeah, it's not that, and then double tap it and then untap it and end up triple tapping it, and then it kind of cancels out. I was like, I don't know what... It's fine once it's going, but sometimes I get a bit lost with it.
Well, you forget it's not a normal thing for gamers to do. Is to double tap something.
There's some weird control mechanics in it where Y is your like ability, and like it seems like a weird button to put it on, but it is what it is. You get used to it, I suppose. Each to their own. I'm disappointed to hear that it becomes sort of open world. I'm hoping it's not as open world as you think it is, Anna, and it's just a big open world that is kind of linear. That you'll just kind of block you off at a certain point.
Maybe, but it seems.
I mean, to be fair, I've got it. I've not paid. I've paid for Game Pass. I've jumped back in on Game Pass for a month, so I'll play some more, see where it goes. Because the style and I mean, I'm half expecting jump scares a lot in this game. Like some of the advertising with the robots that open the mask, open the face. It's like very Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm like, are you going to be pulling jump scares everywhere? Because this is. It
I've
gives
not
me
really
vibes
had
of that.
any.
No, I've not. But the marketing and the advertising and stuff shows some of them bots that have do that. And then what was I going to say now? The actual style and everything of it's intriguing. I like the technology and stuff because it's set in the like 50s or 60s, isn't it? I think. But it's got all this like future technology, and it's cool. It's weird, and like you say, you've got these robots with little mustaches on them, and they're quite amusing to just come charging at you and what have you. But I've only played like the opening few hours, so I don't hate it, but it also knowing there is some things that ain't great about it at times. But it is on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, it's on both Xbox and on PC. Give it a go if you've got the Game Pass. It's worth giving it a look at least, like I say, because it is on Game Pass. Whether I paid whatever it is, £70 that they want for a full price for the game, I don't know how much it is.
Paid 47.
Oh, is that so? It's not necessarily a full price game. Either way,
No.
like I say, it's probably worth your Game Pass. It's worth giving it a go on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And other than that, I've played a little bit of the Wizard game, but not enough to really discuss because I feel like I'm just wandering around looking for stuff. I didn't really do anything of consequence. So yeah, that is pretty much it for me this week.
Well, in that case, we'll wrap things up. If you want to find more internet-y type stuff about us, you can do that at MG UK Podcast, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
You can find me at RB6K.
I'm at Miss Lelujo.
And I'm at Pab 1986.
And we will see you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Toodle pip.
Thanks for listening, folks.